Ghana, confirm your participation today, sponsored by Super Yogo. Felicity Hafianyo is joining us on the phone line. Helen?
Felicity, good morning.
Good morning, Helen.
How are you doing this morning?
I am much better today than yesterday.
And we're glad that you're working today, just like we are. And it's
yes.
it's Workers' Day.
I was 24/7.
Oh, okay. Well, a happy May Day or happy International Workers' Day to you, Felicity.
Yes, thank you. Wishing you all the same.
Thank you so much. What can we expect by way of weather today?
Thanks so much, and good morning and happy May Day to every Ghanaian worker. Today the weather is also happy with us. He really wanted us to rest and reflect. We are having a fairly stable weather across the 16 region. We expect it to be bright and sunny. And then we are having 40% chance of rain and thunder in the afternoon over some few places. Those of us around the eastern region, that's Koforidua, Achimda, part of Ashanti, part of the Volta region, and some few areas along the transition belt. For the state of the sea, we expect it to be rough with some patches of rain and thunder clouds. Fisher folks can navigate, but they just have to be a bit careful. Water Lake is also critical for any fishing activities today until late afternoon, where we are expecting rain and thunder around the eastern region and then part of the Kwame Danso Yeji area. In terms of temperatures, we are expecting it around 33 for Greater Accra, 33, 35 for the middle sector. The north, they will have the highest 36, 38 degrees Celsius. The upper east today will be bright and sunny, a bit scorchy, with just some few floating clouds over that place.
All right, Felicity, thank you so much for that update. I know if anything changes, you will let us know.
Thank you,
Felicity, I was looking forward to the rain yesterday because you told us that it will rain on Sunday, but it did rain.
Yes, I know you definitely
Saturday.
be asking this.
Of course.
Yeah, the rain came on Saturday.
Saturday, that's right.
Yesterday,
as opposed to Sunday.
It came in Saturday till yesterday. Yesterday we had some rain over some places, but it was not on a larger scale.
Because I had planned my events for Saturday, and then the evening we had to stop it around like 10:30, 11.
Next time let me know, so I'll give you a specific forecast for you.
I hear you, madam. All the best, yeah? And happy Workers' Day to you.
You remember that I said if we are certain we'll release the warning or we update it in our morning forecast. That's right.
And happy Workers' Day.
There is anticipation of a rainstorm. You keep to monitor our morning and then our afternoon forecast for that day.
Right. And happy Workers' Day to all of you, Mr. Samoa and the rest of the team.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Wishing you the same too.
All the best.
We pray next year by this time Ghana will be far, far better. Workers will be very, very appreciative, and then things will be much improved than it will be for the last year.
Prayer is the key, Felicity. Prayer. Helen, are you praying too that things will be better?
It's the only way. It's the only way. I was thinking about how, we're always bombarded with so many issues. But today we get to at least appreciate the plight of the worker. Things are not easy at all. Things are not easy at all. Many people will tell you the monies they earn working, they can only afford to go to work with that money. So really it's just the transport that is being taken care of. But where is the reward at the end of the day for the talent, the diligence, the work that is actually being done? And you'll find that a lot of people are burnt out, exhausted, stressed out. Mental health is not that great because of the pressure, thinking about how to take care of the family, not being able to forecast properly what's going on because it's been turbulent. 1 minute the city is doing this, the next it's somersaulting. So it's good to obviously take stock of how the Ghanaian worker is feeling. I know we're all feeling the pinch.
Yeah, we are all feeling the pinch, and that's why I want to share with you portions of the Labour Act 651/2003, Section 7, private employment agencies, and we have a lot of these private employment agencies.
That's right.
They contract you. But this, by the way, this morning we're working with DJ Faculty on the ones and twos. Yeah, so we had to wake him up very, very early to come and work here. He's not used to the morning gig, man.
Not easy, man.
Don't worry, we'll baptize him. He will be fine. He will survive. So the Labour Act 651 2003, Section 7 talks about private employment agencies. It says, 1, a person shall not establish or operate a private employment agency unless the person is a corporate body, has applied to and has been granted a license by the minister. 2, a license granted by the minister under subsection 1 shall, subject to terms and conditions stipulated in the license, be valid for a period of 12 months. The license of agency may be renewed for a period of 12 months upon application made to the minister. 4, there shall be paid by an agency for the issue of renewal of the license such fee as the ministry or the minister may by legislative instrument prescribe. 5, an agency may recruit workers for employment in a country outside Ghana if it is authorized to do so under its license, and if there exists an agreement between the government and that other country. 6, an agency shall submit to the minister not less than 14 days after the end of every 3 months returns in respect of workers recruited for employment, whether in Ghana or outside Ghana during the period. 7, an agency shall refund 50% of the fees paid by a client to the agency if the agency is unable to secure a job placement for the client after the expiration of 3 months. And finally, the minister shall revoke the license of any agency that fails to comply with Section 6. I'm interested in the returns and how people can be taken out of the country to go and work, and particularly 50% of whatever is secured from these possible employers, for employees. I think that we need to pay attention again to how much money these agencies can retain.
Right.
Because we've heard stories of how people have on paper been known to be earning, say, 1,200,
right,
1,500,
right,
and then the agency takes so much of the money. By the time the money gets to the people who actually do the work, it's actually a pittance. We've had too many of those stories coming up, and for me, I think on Workers' Day, these are some of the conversations that we need to have.
That's
because
right.
Whether they are street sweepers, whether they are janitors, whether they are itinerant rubbish collectors, whether they are teachers, whether they are waitresses or waiters, whether they are whatever it is that they do, if an agency contracts them, what are their rights? Because they will be performing their duties, but what are their rights really? William, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm greater than Accra. Greater than Accra. Representing my engineering group. Yeah, Charlie.
So just for today.
Yes, I'm representing. It's Workers' Day, so so you represent.
You go underground all the time. You see how you do.
Oh no, I actually used to go on site with my father.
Oh,
yes,
see.
my father was a builder, so I can show you a lot of buildings around town. I can make mortar and lay brick and paint.
I see.
Nobody has ever painted my home before.
Oh wow!
I painted myself.
Interesting.
Yeah. I painted myself because
a good skill to have these days. It's not cheap.
Yeah, because in my home, my dad. There was no duty that was gender based. We used to go to the kitchen. Today is boys' day in the kitchen. Tomorrow is girls' day on the compound. That kind of thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they will train you. So when I cook like that, inshallah.
So you can cook?
Yes, I cook very, very well.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
very, very well.
So we'll be asking you to show working. I hope you know that. You
Me?
went out over by
the last time we had a contest here on the compound.
Yeah.
I won the jollof war.
Come on.
Yeah, it's there. The chefs came from.
Hey, today you should have worn your apron.
Oh no.
Cooking with Hughes.
No. Today I want to be somebody else. But back to the matter. These agencies and how they connect with those they help to find jobs. Sometimes you go around town, you find that things have been pasted on walls under the bridges,
yes,
wherever it is. Your job available, day job, 500 Ghana or 300. They put the figure there. but you don't actually know what the full sum is, what percentage of the money they are taking and all of that, because you're desperately looking for a job. That's the reality of many people. So by the time they get to know that this guy is actually, taking so much of my money, it's too late.
It's gone.
It's too late. And the issue of SNIT contributions, the issue of welfare, the issue of other employment packages that you come to them, you don't actually get these things, and people are really, really, really suffering. Really suffering.
Yeah.
My observation is that for a lot of the time, you see the government taking money from the private sector through borrowing, bonds.
Yeah.
A lot of the money that we have on the bonds are from private sector to the public sector, which is not a very efficient business, if you like, entity. So recently, when these issues of bond and then the debt restructuring came, it was obvious that the private sector was exposed. So Johnnie is talking about paying people well. If the private sector is doing well, the assumption is that they will pay well.
Yeah.
But where so much money is taken from private sector in terms of bonds, which are debts to this government, the government is not able to pay back. Now they are cutting down on even the amount of money they will pay and so on and so forth. So we realize that a lot of money has been taken to the public sector, which is not a very as I said, a very good business entity. So you see the government engaging in a lot of projects that are not bringing immediate returns. So the cash flow in the system is so low. Free SHS is good, but it won't bring immediate returns. Our roads are not being constructed, so contractors are not being paid, so there's no cash flow. Our road tolls have been stopped, so there's no cash flow. So you see that there's no money in the system. So the private sector is not able to expand, to employ more people, pay well, and so on and so. There are very few private enterprises in the system who are doing so well, are also struggling to pay. So then you see that private sector is not paying well, public sector is not paying well. And a lot of the time, before you get a job in the private sector, you may not have to have paper in terms of certification. So people get in there without certification, so they are taking advantage of. You talked about some of the work that they post. They put adverts on the wall and stuff like that. They wouldn't even tell you how much you are earning.
That's right.
See
that's the whole
800 CDs.
Yes, but you don't know what, because you have a right to know. Okay, William is the guy employing me. You are the agency who is liaising between me and William. Okay, and William is offering maybe 3,000 CDs on my head. But you're publishing 800 CDs. Where does the 2,200 go?
So that's why the government is always being pressured to ensure that the macroeconomic environment is good, so that the private sector, which is the engine of growth, will thrive, and then more jobs, better pay and stuff. But as for public sector, before you even get there, director's pay is already in the bracket.
Everybody knows.
But private sector, if they are doing well, today they can say today is holiday, so come and take some 2,000 and go. But public sector doesn't happen.
Your gallons of fuel are known.
So if the private sector, like America, where the private sector is doing well, we have so many billionaires running companies. People have some good credit, people have some good money to spend. But here, and everybody's looking for government job, because that's where all the push is going. They're taking money, as I said, from the private sector to the public sector. It's something that, especially when I talk about workers' rights, you don't even have the right to negotiate.
Speaking of which, Section 8 of Act 651, 2003, the Labour Law, talks about rights of employer. Subject to this act and any other enactment, the rights of an employer include the right to A, employ a worker, discipline, transfer, promote, and terminate the employment of the worker. B, formulate policies, execute plans and programs to set targets. C, modify, extend, or cease operations. And D, determine the type of products to make or sell and the prices of its goods and services. Duties of employers. Without prejudice to the provisions of this act and any other enactment for the time being in force and in any contract of employment or collective agreement, the duties of an employer include the duties to A, provide work and appropriate raw materials, machinery, equipment, and tools. B, pay the agreed remuneration at the time and place agreed on in the contract of employment or collective agreement or by custom without any deduction except deduction permitted by law or agreed between the employer and the worker. C, take all practical steps to ensure that the worker is free from risk of personal injury or damage to his or her health during and in the course of the worker's employment or while lawfully on the employer's premises. D, develop the human resources by way of training and retaining of the workers. E, provide and ensure the operation of an adequate procedure for discipline of workers. F, furnish the worker with a copy of the worker's contract of employment. G, keep open the channels of communication with the workers. And H, protect the interest of the workers. Does it happen?
I think we can confidently say, maybe not confidently, I don't know what goes on in everybody's business or company, but I think that you can surmise that the typical Ghanaian worker might not know all of his or her rights. We'll come to
the rights of the worker.
Right,
but this
talking
is
about
what
the employer.
An employer is. And I've worked in a biscuit factory before. After secondary school, I worked in the biscuit factory.
Hey, Johnnie.
Before Gabiko, that was what it was called. So I started off carrying sugar and flour. I was on break one day. I was interested in the newspaper, so I was reading. One of the Lebanese guys came and said, you can read, you can write, that kind of vibe. So then I became a tally clerk right from there, because they needed somebody who could, so I spent my first 30 minutes on break, come back, and I have to be there and wait for the others to come in and then take, because they work by the hour, we pay them every 2 weeks. They work for 8 hours. So every 2 weeks there was money to go around. So if you missed an hour or two out of your 8 hours, it's deducted and all of that. Plenty nuances that go on. But again, for factory workers or factory hand, there's the tendency of somebody has been a casual worker for more than 6 months, which is what is within the confines of the law. That individual has been a casual worker for about 6 years, and they are waiting and hoping to be made permanent. And so they are always being literally threatened. Employers have and managers have that subtle mindset of threatening people. Hey, if you don't do this, we'll do this. Hey, if you don't do that, we'll do that. Hey, if you don't do this, we'll do this. And I said, what's going on? Because in the factory, not just there, but in many different factories, it's a thing that pertains, that people are casual workers for God knows how long. SNIT contributions are not paid for them. They don't know. The only benefits that they get is that they get to join a company bus and come in and join a company bus and go back at Christmas. Maybe they get the crumbs of, the rice, if they have, what's that, they're producing, biscuit, oil, and then they take away and all of that. But the real benefits, if you read all of these things, the real benefits that must come to them. You work in a manufacturing company, you don't have protective clothing, you don't have boots, you don't have nothing. It's a whole system that must be re-engineered and looked at all over again. All over again, trust me.
And I think in our setting, it appears that the employer is always right, especially in this economic climate. If you want to retain your job, you don't want to rock the boat, you're going to comply with what your employer wants. Employers do have a lot of rights, as you read there, right to terminate, change the contract, and so on and so forth, to borrow from Mr. Esiedu. But that has to be within reason. I do think now, because people are desperate, employers do have the upper hand and are able to do things that, in an otherwise, more regularized jurisdiction, you can spot some of these things, but your employer is maybe taking advantage. But what can you do?
C says, take all practical steps to ensure that the worker is free from risk of personal injury or damage to his or her health during and in the course of the worker's employment or while lawfully on the employer's premises. We see painters every time. We see welders. We see carpenters. You can see a painter climb up, sit to the sit floor. It is not a proper scaffold. It is their own wawa board that they have put together. If you hear he's straight, he's coming down straight. No hard hat, no boots, nothing. So we're talking about practical steps to prevent them from personal injury. And there are so many of these cases where carpenters are on site, they may have hit, their hand by some hammer, or because there's no facility manager at the place to clear, the previous day's debris. You find maybe a plank of wood with a nail, pushing through it. The carpenter steps on it. That's it. They say, "Oh, Kofi, wanabra."
For me, one thing I'm seeing all around in terms of what we say, especially the health aspects, that we look at physical health of the employee, the mental health or the psychological well-being of the worker is hardly discussed.
That's right.
I mean, they don't care how the work schedule is eating you up. They don't care what problems you have at home. They don't care what is happening to you upstairs. So at the end of the day, all they want is from you to be physically present.
KPI.
And
KPI.
so going forward, I think that companies, or if you like business entities, should also begin to look at how technology can be leveraged to reduce the stress on the human being. So that at the end of the day, if technology can take some portion or some, like the law is saying, practical steps can be taken to reduce the pressure on the individual, because a lot of Ghanaians don't have a lot of, if you like, residual income. They don't have a lot of surplus income. So,
but the main ones have someday.
They do not on their own take measures that will relax their minds. For instance, today, holiday, after work, maybe your family is meeting you in town. You go and sit by some river, eat some good fish, drink some good wine, watch some birds and stuff like that. How many people can even afford a bowl of food today? So it's something that companies should begin to look at, because we've seen a lot of people dying from high blood pressure, from other non-communicable diseases because of the pressure on them. Because, for instance, if you're working in a place that your work is tied to deadlines, your timelines are so tight, and you do it back to back, whether you feel it now or not, tomorrow it will hit you. There's
the
no
impact will
way
be there.
out.
Yeah.
So companies should begin to look at these things and make room. I mean, if the team is working under pressure, because we all know the schedule. You call them, give them some tickets to go and chillax somewhere.
Some movie night somewhere.
Yes, every quarter,
comedy show.
But even beyond that, also thinking about employing the services of a therapist or a psychologist.
That's a good point.
There are a few companies that I've learned of in Ghana.
Usually the multinationals have that, but if you come to the local companies, you
hardly find that. So they'll have a therapist on standby, or somebody that comes in once a month that you can at least talk to and release some of that stress. But also, it is incumbent on employers to also to also learn these skills that make them more emotionally intelligent, to then pass that on to
sometimes, or if you like, in some of the cases, those who employ are able to get these services on the side for themselves. They are able to do that. I mean, he's a big boy who has a conglomerate, a business conglomerate, some 15, 20 companies. If he wants a therapist, he can just make a phone call and get a therapist. But the janitor down there, who may not necessarily, because through no fault of his, may not have, forgive me if you're having your breakfast, water flowing through the taps. People go and mess up all the washrooms in there. He has to go and fix it. There's no water, so he shuts everything down. The workers come at him. Employer is calling him, why are the washrooms shut? Forgetting that somebody has to provide the water to be able to keep the place cool, because it's part of the conditions of service of the workers there as well. I mean, he will be stressed. But then he goes home to no therapist. If his wife also brings his wahala, finish. He's gone.
And what's I mean, I'm looking at the preventive side of things now. Look, where for instance, employers, managers or management are entitled to ABC.
Right.
Say they get it. And the people who do the leg work,
they don't get it.
They are not even asking for anything extra. They are asking for tools, and that is where the frustration will come in.
That's right.
Because if the employee is doing some jobs or a certain assignment or duty that requires that he should get a tool, and you are denying him or her, and he sees that you've got all your tools plus the other things, the other largesse that comes with your office, the frustration starts from there.
So the Labor Act provides for it. Section 9A says, provide work and appropriate raw materials, machinery, equipment, and tools. That's the first.
Yes.
Because if you don't provide me with the tools, then you're setting me up to fail.
Yes. And it's not everybody who would want to come to work and walk around. People who want to come, there are individuals who want to come
work.
and work and deliver.
Yeah.
And people like this, they are always on the edge because their psychology is not wired to be lazy. People, there are some people, if you come and the tool is not there,
let's wait for money.
But others will come, and then if there's no tool, you see confrontations, you see arguments, you see disrespect, and then it explodes into.
But then you find that in some of the cases as well, managements in many places like to reward those people, and I find that quite worrying because there's supposed to be a norm. I'm a carpenter. I need that hammer. I need nails. I need a saw. I need a plane. I need sandpaper. I need lacquer. I need veneer. I need glue. These are the basics that you give me to go and do my work. If somebody comes and there's no plane and he decides that he's going to use the sandpaper to do 3 times extra what a plane could have done in 5 minutes, so he spends an extra hour, and the employer thinks that I must reward the person for trying to, because by the time he's done with the sandpaper, he would have ruined all his fingers.
Sandpaper.
Yes, sandpaper is his hand. But the employer would say, "Oh, this man went out of his way to use the sandpaper to do the work of a plane when we didn't have a plane. So then they call a staff driver, applaud him and give him something." So you are actually normalizing what is not normal. Then you, the manager, you are abnormal. I mean, how else do I put it? Because you're supposed to provide the basics. You have your laptop, you have your vehicle, you have everything else that you require to do the job that you're supposed to do. So you feel comfortable attending all the big meetings. But down there, the man who is doing the actual job, down there, the person is what do you call it? I don't know how the carpenters call it. He doesn't have PPEs. He doesn't have nose masks. He doesn't have anything. So he is inhaling everything. So he went out of his way to do ABC. Then they find him some small microwave or a 32-inch flat screen. He's also happy, he takes his home, forgetting that he has gotten bronchitis or some other, respiratory related disease that he would have to deal with for a very, very long time.
Another point that I would want to, maybe the last point on this is how in the workplace, words, how they impact. I'm still talking about the mental health and the psychological side of things. How in the workplace environment, people choose who to respect. People choose who to respect so that the cleaner is not respected at all.
Yeah.
The security man is not respected at all.
Right.
But can you imagine if one day the cleaners decide not to come to work? You walk in at 8 o'clock and the previous day's things are inside things. I remember there was a big man, they went for a meeting and the washroom was close by. So one of the workers wanted to use the washroom. The big man came out. Then when the gentleman was entering, he said, "My friend, that thing inside the ant mine,
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That thing inside the ant mine,
It wasn't me.
So you can imagine. So we should respect everybody, not just your line manager. Sometimes it's difficult as human beings. We have bust ups and stuff, but the respect must be there.
I went somewhere into some workplace, and I entered very, very early because we had a very early morning meeting. Very, very early. I think about 4:35. We're going to brainstorm, do some voice recording, because when you wake up in the morning, your voice is causing. I like to do my VOs around that time. So we had gone in there, looked at the script and all of that. Then I decided to, get down, get some fresh air at the back and come back in. When I descended, I saw a lady seated on the staircase. So I greeted her. There was no response. Then I walked off. Then this is a big company. Then I came back, I greeted her. No response. So then I backtracked and then I tapped her and greeted her. And then, as if she had been startled. Then I asked her, "Madam, Aden." She said, "Anapa se obia nchiamio. Inti me anapa de me yi madwen free nchiaso. Me be paper washrooms me wia me ko." And that's I felt so bad that people, and if you have ever been to a secondary school in this country, and you know what juniors can do with seniors' plates. If you ask them, if you're a wicked senior, and you ask them to go and bring you food or something, yeah, you will respect cleaners. They will drop things in your food. You will eat it.
Johnnie,
yeah, no, but it's the truth.
This my Ghana senior said, my friend, go and eat my pepper for me. And this gentleman went to eat some of the pepper and kept everything. Said that day, you shall say,
there will be war.
Come and go and eat my pepper for me.
Eat my pepper for me. I mean, so respect is important. But let's look at the section 10, rights of a worker. The rights of a worker include the right to A, work under satisfactory, safe, and healthy conditions. B, receive equal pay for equal work without distinction of any kind. C, have rest, leisure, and reasonable limitation of working hours and periods of holidays with pay as well as remuneration for public holidays. D, form or join a trade union. E, be trained and retrained for the development of his or her skills. And F, receive information relevant to his or her work.
As for the trade union there, some companies will not allow that.
Some companies have actually abolished the trade unions.
Yes,
because of course, I mean, for special reasons. but then they raise a point here about providing remuneration even for public holidays, have rest, leisure, and reasonable limitation of working hours and period of holidays with pay as well as remuneration for public holidays. So today is on holiday. If you're at work, the employer must compensate you for it, even though the employer considers you as an essential service provider. Then you must be compensated for it. Now, I've always raised this question at many different places, even at the Labor Ministry. I've asked the question. So you are supposed to be an essential service provider. Everybody else in many different departments on that particular day have gone off. The guys at Gridco managing the power, whatever it is now, would be at work this morning. They will be at work, run their shifts regularly. But maybe the guys in the account office at Gridco will not come. The guys in the audit office will not come. For all you know, the MD himself will not turn up. Many other people will not turn up, and so on and so forth, if you will. But then, when it's time to go for their annual leave, is that factored? That those days where they came, 1st January, 25th December, 26th December, Workers' Day, Republic Day, Founders' Day, whatever, all those days that they came to work, are they factored into their leave days? Because everybody is entitled to say 10 days or 15 days of leave, and they work the extra, and those people took their holidays and still got their leave. What happens? Do they get paid monies for it, or are those days calculated and factored into their leave? I've asked that question, and even the Labour Minister, I've asked Aaron Idrisu that question. I've asked Ignatius Bafo that question. None of them have been able to answer that question.
I mean, it's only fair because where I've worked before, it is calculated. So that if you're a journalist in that establishment, your leave period is longer.
That's right.
I mean, way longer than those who are not journalists. Because for us, we're on a call. Even if you're on leave, you're supposed to provide your mobile number. So that when there's a critical assignment and you are the one cut for it, they can get back to you and call you and stuff like that. So if it's not happening, it is for individuals to sometimes ask. And so the general culture of the country would also sometimes reflect at the workplace where people are not able to ask questions, people are not able to speak to power, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day,
that's because the employers think they're doing you a favor, really. That's the mindset.
It's also because there are no jobs, you know. So
yes.
The favor will come because there are no jobs. The demand and supply will make to tell on the employee because so much demand for employment and there's so much little supply of opportunities. Right. So at the end of the day, it is for us, as I said earlier, it's for the government to make sure that the macroeconomic environment is correct, the numbers are good so that private sector can expand. Because apart from Russia and a few other Scandinavian countries, no other country has been able to run the public sector in a way that jobs are created and efficiency is out there. It is always the private sector that I always use US and China, where the private sector is doing so well. I mean, recent Forbes numbers are saying about 780 something billionaires in US alone. So at the end of the day, if we create the environment for people to get more jobs. Nobody will bluff anybody. But where in Canada they say doctors are protesting that their salary is too much.
They're being paid too much.
Yeah.
They want to return
Such
some
a
to the
place,
country.
who bluff who?
Yeah.
And Johnny, that first point, this one here, we can tie it to the rights of the employer. So the employee has a right to work somewhere that is safe, and it's not just physical safety as well, mental safety.
That's right.
You don't want to go to a workplace where you are being berated by your employer day in and day out, lambasted by your line manager here and there. That is also for consideration. So as an employee, you should find a way to demand that your conditions of service are favorable to your mind as well. You have to speak up and tell your employer that these conditions, they're not helping. My mental health is at stake. But as Johnny says, we find ourselves in, as William said, beg your pardon, Mr. Sidu, we find ourselves in a position where it's not evenly yoked between employer and employee. So you kind of just take what is given to you because you want to survive.
I mean, if you have a country where your unemployment rate is about 14% of your population, and the jobs are not available, even those who are employed are not being paid well, because by the time the salary gets to some people, it's already finished. They are in the red. They have borrowed or bought things on credit that they immediately have to go and pay, so they get goodwill to credit some more. And because of that, they are stuck in particularly what they eat. So if they know that, okay, I go to this place, I can get a bag of rice, oil, I can get gari, I can get beans, that. He takes his salary, pays what he owes, and collects the same stock. So he's no friend to spaghetti. He's not a friend to pizza, because he doesn't have what it takes. He's just buying. And eating too much of everything is bad, because you need to vary what you eat and all of that. It's really a big problem. But again, work under satisfactory, safe and healthy conditions. And you have had conversation with so many women who raise the question of the fact that when we talk about safe working conditions, we always think about the building, or your chair has to be good, your laptop is working, you have internet, you have a security man, so people will go through protocol before coming to see and all of that. The washroom, because a lot of women complain that they go to washrooms at their workplaces and they most often live with infections. Most women complain. So you find that they would rather choose the gutter behind the office, or drive out and go to a decent hotel or from some sort to go and use the washrooms around there. Because the washrooms at their place, which is also supposed to be a safe and healthy condition, is a problem. And they tell me, look, when they get infected, it takes a lot of time before they get healed, and they spend a lot of money, and largely because the health insurance that is provided by the companies does not actually even cover that.
And it's a culture in this country. I mean, when you talk about washrooms, you go around the country, people's homes, people's offices, churches, public places, washrooms are simply not taken care of.
They think that it must smell to be a washroom.
But it's supposed to be a place where it's supposed to be so clean that when you go there, because that's where you spend private time. We even call it private.
Yes.
You spend some time. That's where even some ideas pop up.
Yeah.
But you go there, and I have a friend who goes to a certain hotel every morning before he comes to work, because there's air conditioning in the toilet.
Hey.
Oh yes, there's a hotel that the air conditioning is central, so
you get some of that cool breeze.
DJ faculties are green. So every morning, you pass them before you come to work, no matter the time.
Charlie,
you drop by the hotel.
You feel
just greet the receptionist and
fire away.
Freezing.
Freeze me, Lord. Freeze me. Freeze me. Charlie, but it's a serious matter.
No, it is.
No, quite frankly, I mean,
it is.
It's something that we're laughing about.
On the hourly, I mean, I'm fortunate to have done some work. The U.S. Embassy, USAID, British High Commission, some other multinationals, even the Talos and the Ghana Gas and all those guys. You go to their washrooms and you ask yourself, are these people working in Ghana? Because the washrooms are clean. There's actually a certain chart, who cleaned at 10, who clean at 11, who clean at 12, and they sign it off. There's a supervisor who comes around to check if it's there. The soap in the washroom, Charlie, the fragrance, I mean, you enter the place and you think, wow, this can be my office.
You hear what I said there? I said it's a cultural thing. If you come to my house and my washroom is like that, you even go out and insult me like, yes, perfume and things.
Yes.
They want to see a dirty washroom.
Okay.
I mean, that's the typical Ghanaian.
Well, but
to the point where in some cultures, even having the facility inside the house, like the room, it's not allowed. You're supposed to have it away,
outside.
You know, because the thing is too dirty. So you have a self-contained apartment. You have the toilet in your bedroom, master bedroom. So it's a cultural orientation that we need to fix.
Charlie, even in some places, tissue, washroom, tissue.
But is it? If
like we call it in secondary school, domaro, tea roll.
There's no way any company should have water running out in their washrooms, because it takes just about 15,000 to 20,000 to sink a borehole. So that constantly water should be flowing. Because if you come to work and you have gone to eat some food with pepper and it's running you, and you go inside there and the tap is not flowing, can you imagine?
The thing is running.
So there's no way a company an establishment that calls itself a company or a workplace should not have running water. You shouldn't just depend on the national supply. Do some borehole. Make sure that also have some reservoirs constantly filled, so that every time there's water. Talking about the workers, these are some of the things that somebody goes upstairs to do whatever, and then you come out and the tap is not flowing. You don't wash your hand. Then you see somebody Charlie fresh.
Charlie, they pass the gem on to you straight.
It happens all the time, and people are just forced to stand on it because they can't sit.
There's no way.
And you go there, you see the standing even on the
seat
itself. On the seat, and because people are also not used to the WC, especially the men, they don't lift the seat and they fire on the seat. No, you go there, you see it.
Yeah.
We're talking about workers.
They sprinkle.
They sprinkle.
And
these are things that workers should know. That when you are in the workplace, these are things that you don't do. You go to the washroom, lift the seat, do whatever you are doing, clean it up, and then. But like you are saying, the employer to also provide tissue.
I mean, William, I've been to soap. I decided to go to Mövenpick. I went to
Mövenpick.
Yeah, Mövenpick. I went to the AMA, the new AMA complex. I went to Alisa Hotel and one other I've forgotten. And I just decided to stand, at the washroom. So I stood there as if I was washing my hand and stood there. I saw well-dressed men. I couldn't enter the female washrooms, of course. But I saw well-dressed men, suited, tied up, African prints, their kaftans. Some came into the washroom, even though there were paper towels, there was soap, sanitizer, and water running. They finish their business and they don't wash their hands, and they just check out into the foyer, and they're greeting people.
All they do is just shake.
They are shaking hands. They shake
and come
and shake hands.
And then
I saw this myself. I took time. I mean this was around 2017, 2018.
And we're talking about things that people pick from the workplace.
Yes.
So it's important to talk about it.
The AMA complex, when it was first put up, it still has a facility manager. When I entered there, I mean, because the washrooms I know of most public places is a no-go area.
And why would the cleaner come to work at 8 o'clock and then close and go home? Some companies they come and clean the morning and they are gone.
They are gone, yeah.
No, they clean and they are gone. Because some places you go, as soon as the user enters and comes out, the cleaner is following up. Like that. I went to JFK and the man was standing by. As soon as I exited, he entered.
Yeah, because but you see, William, it's because he is running a shorter shift. Maybe he's doing just about 4 hours. Somebody will come and do another 4, another 4, another 4. Here, the cleaners are working, if you like, 8 hours a day. And by the close of the month, they're taking 350.
Yeah, but that's where they even have enough cleaners to go around. But there are some companies, cleaners come to work in the morning, 8 o'clock.
They finish cleaning.
Closed. So whatever happens during the day,
it's your
up to
problem.
You, the user.
If somebody comes and by accident has vomits or something, has an accident,
you
what happens?
Deal with it. When you enter, you see it. You see it the way it is.
Anyway, so
Charlie.
And so on and so
this is workers' health.
Anyway,
we need to talk about it.
Yeah. 7 minutes after 7 here on 3FM Sunrise. This is the holiday edition. and we don't know where you're listening to us from, let's get to know where you're listening to us from. Activate the phone lines. Today's Workers' Day. What's on your mind? We'll cross over to the various work points where we are celebrating Workers' Day. But you can call us now, 0592928795, 0592928795, and 0208227290. 0592928795 and 0208227290. Today's Workers' Day. Are you happy with your employer? And are you happy with yourself as an employee? How are you contributing to the productivity of your employer's business? Are you working within the stipulated rules and regulations? What do you want to see improving your working life? 0592928795 and 0208227290. 0592928795 and 0208227290. Good morning. Please call us back. 0592928795 and 0208227290. If you don't have work as well, let's see what we can do. Talk to us. And what kind of work would you want? Have you tried working at it? Maybe we have a few tips for you. 0592928795 and 0208227290. You can also call and wish your colleagues happy Workers' Day. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a shock.
Talk to me, bro. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Happy Workers' Day to you.
Yeah, happy Workers' Day to you, everyone.
Thank you.
But what are we happy about? Is it really a happy Workers' Day? Johnnie? Is it really a happy Workers' Day? In a country where workers don't have any rights, you understand? You work your entire what do you call it, duration in life, and you go home with nothing. You're talking about the working conditions of those who are down there. Do we really care about them? You see? And the worst of it all is that the managers don't really care. I always say that, if you have ever been in their situation before, where when you were climbing the ladder of what do you call it, your hierarchy in this thing at work, you were from the junior level to this thing. When you are able to get to the top, you understand how those over there feels. We give ourselves allowances and other things too to ourselves, and those who are even working, the sitting allowance that the managers are taking is the salary of someone who is a junior staff. You work with people who have private companies, and each and every year, what they are thinking about is how to amass money or make money and buy new assets. But we don't care about the other people. Why recently something happened? I wanted to access a loan facility from a bank. So I went to my employers to sign an undertaking for me. And our human resource manager saw the deductions or my expenditure for the month, because you need to state it in your the filling of the forms.
Right.
When he finished the calculation, he realized that I always overspend my salary based on the expenditure. So he was asking me, so what will be left for the bank to deduct? And I said, yes, it is because you are my employees and you don't want to satisfy or help me come out of my situation. You know that you are underpaying me, but you want me to go to your bank to go and credit money and pay an interest on it. Yeah. Thereby, at the end of the year, I have impoverished my life. So do you understand? So what happy Workers' Day? It will only be happy if you are getting something substantial and beneficial from your work, and the conditions are okay.
That's right.
Because you see people go. The main reason why there is brain drain is because we are not getting is that we tire too much, but we don't get enough of that money. That is the issue. So, Johnnie, me on the most serious note, they take the happy over there and just do it Workers' Day. That is all. We
should delete the happy.
Sure.
Wait, thank you. Say Shaq is not happy. 12 minutes after 7. 0592928795 0208227290. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh, Kosami. How you doing?
Oh, how is this?
Talk to me, sir. Talk to me.
Thank you very much. Should I say happy Workers' Day to you?
Yes.
Because I know you are not happy.
Kosami, go ahead.
Thank you very much. You are talking about employment and employees and employers. And I want authorities to turn around and look at the informal sector. How people are being employed there and how they are being used in the informal sector. In fact, people work so hard in the informal sector as employees. They are masters. But the way they are being treated, nobody seems to care about them. So I'll plead with the authorities. To look at that side too. Because they are also, Ghanaians who contribute to the development of this country. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you, Kosami. Grateful. 0592928795 and 0208227290. You're welcome. What do you say? Are you an employer? What do you say? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning. This is Clifford from Medina.
Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, Johnny, I don't think any Ghanaian worker will say he or she is happy.
Oh, why?
Today as we speak now.
Why?
Because everything is very hard. You are working at the end of the month, you cannot even use what you work for because you collect the salary, you don't even know where to start and end at where. Feeding alone is taking huge chunks of the money that you work for. Me, for instance, I am working with a particular company since because of coronavirus 2019. From 2019, no increment, no anything. And I'm still working with the company. The company doesn't even sell the products that we are working here. Everything from the company, everything we finish has been exported. And we are working with dollars. But now we are not being increased anything. Nothing like that. The payment you were receiving at 2019, 2016, you are still receiving the same amount of money. And the company itself is getting a huge sums of money. But to give the workers money to feel happy to continue working in the same company, no. So why will I be happy when they say Happy Workers' Day? So I don't think any Ghanaian worker is happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Good
much.
Morning.
Good morning, my brother. 0592928795 0208227290 0592928795 and 0208227290. It's Workers' Day today. What do you say? What's on your mind? Share with us. So far, all my callers say there's nothing to be happy about. What do you say? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
My name is Kelly.
Kelly, calling us from where?
I'm a filmmaker.
Okay.
Most of the time, we filmmakers don't talk about our payments and stuff.
That's right.
Because most of us are freelancers. Only a few human do it. I'm a freelancer. I work with a company who is one of the big production houses in Ghana. You work, you are paid on contract. So when the project comes, you are paid per the project. You are paid less. Sorry. You are paid less.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when they have to pay you on time, it's a monthly contract. So after every month you have to be paid.
That's right.
You'll be paid 2 months or 3 months after you've done production. But yet they want you to come to work anytime. And filmmakers, we overwork. We overwork. I'm a cinematographer.
Right.
In other words, a photographer. When I go to work, I stand on my feet from 7 a.m. to sometimes 2 a.m. And it's every day. But we are paid less. And our bosses expect us to come to work every single day. I always meet deadlines and stuff. We are not happy. So crew members, we are not happy at all.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir.
We are not happy at all in this country.
Oh, what's your name? What's your name and where are you calling us from, please?
My name is Inchakrobia.
Okay.
We are not happy in this country.
Okay.
we are in a country whereby people are doing contract for 15 years plus. And nothing is there to be right home about. Salary, people are taking salary, the same salary for over 7 years. It's very, very bad. In fact, workers in this country are really suffering, especially in the informal sector. It's too bad. So you guys should do something about this contracting, supporting staff contracting. We are really suffering.
Okay. Thank you very much. Willie Ton Colombia powder. 0592928795 and 0208227290. DJ Faculty. It's 18 minutes after 7 here on 3FM 92.7. This is the holiday edition of the Sunrise Morning Show. We're discussing workers and their benefits that they get, their duties and communities in between. You can also add your voice to it. 0592928795 and 0592928795 and 0208227290. 0592928795 and 0208227290. Good morning. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good.
Great. What's your name and location? I'm greater than Accra. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Belinda Otis.
Okay. Calling us from where?
From Accra.
Okay. Talk to me.
I would say in Ghana here, workers don't have any freedom or rights or even off days or something.
You don't have off days?
They don't even have days to, like, as most of the, especially private sectors. Because I'm a gardener. We sell those plants, horticulture.
Right.
And where I used to work, I left there a month ago.
Why did you leave?
Because from Sunday to Sunday, you go to work. So it means the whole year you don't have holiday. Even if you are sick, they are still expect you to come to work. And nothing like, oh, take this tape and buy drugs.
Wow.
So because of that, I thought I was in hell working. So I have to leave there. And the most painful thing is, at the end of the month, you are going to take 300 cedis.
Working from Sunday to Sunday?
To Sunday. And at the end of the month, you are taking 300 cedis.
But wait, what you do now, is it paying off? Is it better?
I would say it's a little bit better than where I used to work. I would say. Because it's the same work I do. Like, that's what I do.
But you would wish that people who engage horticulturists will pay them better?
Yes, because people see it to be the work is not it's so easy. That's what they see it to be. But if you ask people who are into the work, they will explain it more better.
You are into the work. Well, explain it to us.
Yes.
How difficult is it?
Yeah. Nurturing a plant, bringing up a plant, nursing a plant from the seedling, growing it for someone to buy. It takes a lot of time. At times, nursing a plant might even take 3 months before it germinates. At times, 6 months. And look, after all this, you need to transplant it. You need to transplant these plants. And when you are not lucky enough, you might lose some plants.
And you are paid
yes.
And you are paid 300 Ghana cedis for doing all of that.
And the only thing is, they don't take any, especially where I used to, like where I worked before, he don't take any advice from workers.
Your employer doesn't take advice from you.
No, you don't take any even opinions. They didn't take any opinions from us. And I was when I was second in charge. When he's not there, I was the person like.
Right.
You
deputized
I was the only
for him,
person there.
yes.
So at times they call us managers, but we don't play any role. They don't take any opinions. They always underlook your suggestion.
Wow.
Then when they travel, like the thing is the most painful thing is whenever they try, he travels. He won't tell you, but whenever he's back, he wants you to close like the sales you are going to make. He's expecting something huge. Then after that, he wants to pay you something small. And you, as a worker, you know day in, day out, every day how you close, the sales you make. And at the end of the month, they give you 300. You feel very bad.
Of course.
And nothing like when you are sick, take this and buy drugs. No, nothing like that.
So you mean that your eye was in the money, but the money was not entering your eye?
Yes. Because I keep the money. I work. The only thing they do, they will only come in the morning, leave. At times they will bring new products. They don't work. The only thing is they'll just come and supervise and go.
Okay, thank you. We will try and do some advocacy and see how this goes. Yeah, thank you so much for calling us.
Some of us we are really suffering.
Thank you so much. We're grateful.
3FM
Hey.
92.7.
We are in the movement. 0592-928-795 and 0208-227-290. 0592-928-795 and 0208-227-290. A few more calls. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and location, please.
Yes, my name is Eli Klim, calling from Circle.
Okay, talk to me, bro. What's on your mind?
Okay, please, I want to know the role of ICU in this country.
ICU?
Yeah, the labor union ICU.
Solomon Kote's ICU?
Yes, please.
But they push for your interests if you are a member. You know, they...
Yeah, please, I don't think so.
Oh, why?
Yes, because I don't think ICU have workers' interests at heart in this country. I'm saying this because...
Tell me, yes.
I used to work in a certain company. I don't know if I should put the name out.
Don't put the name out.
Okay. I worked with them for almost 8 years. I was employed as unskilled labor. Right. Along the line, I learned how to operate forklift in addition. So I was transferred to the forklift section, which is in some way a skilled labor.
All right.
But I wasn't paid as unskilled labor. And even, let's put that one aside. We were employed as contract workers, contract staff. So there's monthly renewal of your contract. So we've been doing that way. We were making. And sometimes they won't bring the contract form for you to sign. Like there were 2 years, there was nothing like renewal of contract. So we work, we've been working, and we were being paid like we were being marked like 25 cities thereabouts. And then these managers their weekly allowance is like about 4 times our monthly salary.
Wow.
And this thing has gone on for a very long time. So along the line, I resigned. Some of the managers tried to convince me to rescind my decision of resignation, but I stood on my ground in it. I told them if there's anything good for me to get in that company, I think 7 years and over, like I should have it. So yes. I resigned.
Okay, thank you.
So, come again.
Thank you so much for calling us. I'm sure that we can raise the issues that you have raised as well with
please,
ICU.
The ICU is not doing anything to help workers in this country, especially those contract workers. I see is not doing anything about it at all. And I think they should pick up. Thank you.
Thank you. Industrial and Commercial Workers Union. Good morning, Solomon Kote, and happy Workers' Day to you. People say they are not happy. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's your name and location, please?
I'm calling from Jolu. I'm Phyllis.
Okay, talk to me. Talk to me, you're live on air.
Okay, so I am a designer and I have workers I work with, and for the past, I've been working for 5 years. And, for 15 years. Okay. And then what I've noticed with the workers is, when they come, they portray good character and all, but even by the time you get to the shop, they are even there waiting for you. But as time goes on,
you have to come and wait for them.
Sorry?
As time goes on, you will have to come and wait for them.
Yes. And what I realized was, what I do is I pay them daily. So in order for you to earn more, you have to come early and then you work, with time.
The more you sow, the more you earn.
Yes. But, they want to be paid more. And based on my plan I have for them, because me, I get to work at 6:30. So in case, let's say, if you are even late, it's exactly 7, you should be at work and then you start work. They don't come early and they want to be paid more. So this is something that has been going on for a long time. I have colleagues who are designers, and that's the same story they tell me.
Right.
So it's also the individual's attitude to work is poor.
So within your space, you have no fixed amount of money. So if in a day the person can sew, say, 10 different apparels, you pay them according to that.
Yes, so if for like a skirt and top, I have a price charge. If for a simple dress without an interfacing, it has a different charge.
Right.
So what I realized, there was one lady, she was very good, but she was very disrespectful. And at a month, I can tell you the salary this girl earns. And I'm like, wow, what is this girl is all like very respectful and all. She would have earned more, but I couldn't contain her disrespectfulness.
How much was she earning?
Oh, that one I can't disclose.
But we're not asking you to mention her name. We're just interested because we want to enrich the
close
conversation.
To about 3,000 a month.
Wow.
She was very punctual. When I'm in, she's in. And trust me, I just don't understand these people. So it's we have good managers who like to help the young ones. And most of the people that come to me, they are young, let me say 25, 30. So it's the attitude
would you say this attitude is relatable to artisans? Because
yes, I would say. I would say. Because when you travel, it's the same thing. When you come early, you earn. When you come early, you earn more.
That's right.
Yes. So this issue with managers and employees is quite debatable.
I see. I want to congratulate you for deciding to employ people even in these economic conditions, and may God prosper the work of your hands.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for calling us as well.
Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
hello, good morning, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, Willie, and good morning, Helen.
Right. They say good morning to you as well.
For me, Johnny, I want to take this from. My name is Kojo. I'm calling from Adenta.
Talk to me, bro.
Okay. I want to take this in from two sides.
Yes, sir. Let's hear it.
The younger generation, to be very honest, don't want to learn on the job and go through the mill to get paid properly. Because I can remember when I finished school, my first salary was 220 Ghana cedis. 220 in one of the brewery companies, 220 Ghana cedis.
Right.
But, I mean, you should be patient enough to learn you should be patient enough to learn. Because you go into interviews and you tell them, okay, I'm giving you 500 cedis or 1,000 cedis after tax. And they're like, okay, cool. So when I meet younger people who I work with, I advise them, know your worth and then call the shot. Because I work in a private sector. I mean, we are commercial people, so sales, marketing, and stuff. And you see these young men coming in, they've got families, and they're paid, after tax, they're paid 1,500, 1,600.
Right.
And I'm just asking myself, even the prepaid I use at home, how much is it? So the person has got kids, he's got a wife.
Right.
How are they going to cope? How are they going to cope? But you see, at the end of the day, like I said, it's a two sides to the sword.
Right.
One side, people don't want to upgrade themselves. People don't want to learn.
Yeah.
The younger generation are looking at the nice and glitter and glamorous things and not necessarily want to go through the process. Because you need to also go through the process.
That's true.
Then you can also upgrade yourself, not necessarily through school, but through experience.
I agree with you perfectly, because I worked for about 7 years without pay. 7.
See?
So whatever I do now, people see it and they think, oh man, because I sharpened and honed it for 7 years.
Thank you.
7.
Thank you.
Volunteerism, trying to. I mean, I used to MC weddings and do introduction of chairperson and vote of thanks for free.
Wow.
My pay was meat pie and some maybe drink or rice.
Because Johnny, you. I mean, there was a time, a typical example where I had one of my direct reports had issues, and he had decided that one of his kids should stop schooling because he cannot sono. I was shattered. Like, when I heard it from his colleagues, I couldn't sleep. The next day, I said, look, give me your Momo number. Let me send the money if you take that kid back to school. Wow. But please, try as much as possible to do something. Push yourself. Do something. Yeah. Because they're lazy, but they want to get all the nice things they see. That's the problem. So,
bro, thank you so much. Grateful. Real issues there. 0592928795 and 0208227290. 0592928795 and 0208227290. They raised the last caller raised a very, very serious point, William. Volunteerism, allowing yourself to go through the mill. When I tell people I worked in a biscuit factory before, they doubt, because when I told my father I wanted to work in a biscuit factory, he asked me why. I said I want work experience, because I realized that the seniors before me, each time they wrote an application, somebody always asked them, what's your work experience? And that's how I've moved from one place to the other, because I have proof, and I can show you my scorecard, as I like to say, and show working. So this was after secondary school, pre-tertiary. I already had about 6 months, work experience lying down. Tally clerk. This is what somebody's job would be after they are done with their diploma or degree. But I had done 6 months and put it in the fridge. Then you go to the studios, whether it's Hash Studio or Benved Studio, voiceover here, there, Kwashiga's place and all of that. You put that one too in the fridge. Case frequency and all, you put that in the fridge. Then you put that in the fridge. You're helping with event organization, put that in the fridge. So when you put your CV down, it's not much try, quick. But these days, small thing they won't watch.
Oh, I read the research reports somewhere, I think November last year, because I wanted to understand some things that were going on around me, and it's because of the new generation and what they are offered by the world. Somebody comes to work, and during working time, he's on the phone.
Yeah.
At meetings, he's on the phone. You confront the person, and there's an issue. But you and I, our time, there was no phone. You go to a place like Borga to cover your story.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to Borga to come and write, and you take it by some device and spread it.
And you are spreading.
So that's how I was trained. I, as a journalist, would cover an assignment that would have my byline. I wouldn't take anybody's. There was no even device for you to take somebody's story like that. If the story is here, how are you going to get it and take it? Even if I publish it. Number one. Number two, when you come from GIJ, you go to a place like GBC, graphic. There were very limited avenues for you to train.
Yeah.
So you go sometimes 3 years after national service before you are offered employment.
That's right.
So you go through the mill like we are all saying. But these days, so many opportunities, but people are taking advantage of that and rather misbehaving because the opportunities, people are not taking advantage of the opportunities to learn more. And it is easy now for somebody to do their work. So they don't appreciate it when you exert a little pressure and people are busting up.
I don't have a problem if you want to leverage on technology to do your work.
Exactly.
Because now we have technology. But the point is that where you're leveraging on technology, I mean, I have this phone. I do nearly everything on my phone.
Exactly.
From emails to editing videos to audio to any and everything that relates to my work, I can do on my phone.
You should do more. But when they ask you to do more, then I'm looking at the two generations.
No, I'm saying that. So I am able to do it. And this is on the go. Somebody has the same phone and he doesn't even care. So all they do is TikTok, WhatsApp, YouTube, finito.
It's because of your training.
I was going to say on the flip side, and especially on Twitter, every few months a scenario will pop up that leads to a lot of discussion, and this sort of generational war definitely comes up. And there is some merit, I would say, to the way or the ways in which the younger generation approaches work that I think the older generation can also learn from and pick from. I do agree that there is some semblance of younger ones being spoiled. That idea that work should be demanding and have you really engaging. Some people don't really want to hear of that.
I think
this year.
At the bottom line is productivity.
Yes.
What are you bringing to the table? Because if I employ you and I'm paying you, you should give me some value for the money
I think the younger generation are also questioning what the employer can also do for them. So sometimes when these discussions come up, I think it's a good opportunity to also hear from that side. Bear with me, Johnny. For example, I wish I could remember exactly what the scenario was like, but also I think the older generation also I don't know if it's a fear of demanding more from the employer. This idea that work should be hard and gritty and tough. I think the younger generation are saying that there is some leeway for work to also be creative, to be enjoyable, and also for the employer to extend themselves. They see their parents being burnt out. You've seen your dad, your mom working so hard. You juxtapose that against what they're seeing with technology, AI these days, and they're thinking there is some disconnect there. How do we bridge the gap? But there's pros and cons for sure.
I don't disagree with the usage of technology, as I've said over and over again. AI, whatever it is, because at some point the work space will shrink. But then, what are you bringing to the table? And I think that a lot of young people come to the table with too many demands to begin with. William and I attended GIJ. GIJ only offered diploma at the time.
Right.
You wouldn't expect in the most fertile imagination of your mind to go to a place like GBC, Times, Graphic, GNA, to expect that you would be paid as much as somebody who has done the work for 10 years. That's the first point.
Right.
So people, they're done with their first degree, they have no work experience, they come to the workplace and they are hoping that they will be paid 5,000, 4,000. From where?
I mean, how much is that?
What are you bringing to the table?
You know what I read in that report? The point was that you and I...
Hold on, I'm told we have a caller. Please hold on, I beg you. Good morning.
Yeah, it's me, Kojo. My phone dropped.
Kojo, sorry about that. Go ahead, please.
No, that's fine. So, I was listening on, but I heard what Ellen was also trying to say. But you see, I think, again, I'm saying, it's more of a generational approach that we need to have.
That's right.
Because if you look at, let's say us, maybe I'm in my early 40s, so probably during our time, I worked in a restaurant.
Right.
When I finished school with my colleagues, and I went to a very good school, right? But when I finished school, I remember telling my parents I wanted to work. My father was like, colleagues, and that kind of thing. So when my colleagues had moved into the uni, I was a cashier in a casino. Do you understand? It doesn't mean that I didn't want to go to school. But like you're saying, I got trained in a restaurant and a casino for like 2 years.
Right.
2 years. And then I went to school, and then from there moved on. So it gets you to be more matured.
That's right.
But unfortunately, now our generation, we're giving that to kids. They're iPad kids. They want to do things. Everything is fast. So sometimes, unconsciously, we are drifting away and allowing them because maybe I may break a country and say, make sure say, or no, so no, or be more comfortable.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So me, I've told my kids, no matter number of trips you travel in this country, you come back, we go pay Juma man or KFC. Now I wait our home because I want to insist that kind of discipline. Because you see, I'm telling you, if you're not careful, when we are dead and gone,
they'll be miserable. I tell you what,
I'm telling you,
one of the big businessmen I know in this country, Nadum Auto Fix, he does all these car cleaning, blah blah blah. He's well to do, but for each vacation that his kids come on, he allows them to come and work in the washing bay, in his washing bay. Yeah, they clean the cars, they polish it, they pump tires, they change tires, they do, because he says, look, one day when I'm gone, these children will inherit the business. If they don't have understanding of the business is gone. And they will have no work experience. So what you're saying is very, very much true. Thank you so much, Kojo, for your call this morning.
Nice day, guys.
Thank you. And you know, William, Kojo raises a very key point. Park and Shop. You know Park and Shop around the old Melcom?
Yes.
Cowbell Park and Shop.
There, yeah.
You know, I used to be a waiter there. Cashier.
In front of that plastic company.
Yes. And this is how I got my waiter job. So, in fact, the cashier job actually, I had applied to be a waiter. Nobody had given me attention. So one day I was walking towards, there's back and forth after secondary school, Charlie, roaming around. Back in the day, you go to computer school, and then when you are done, you do MS-DOS, MS Windows. Then when you finish, you wait for your results, and then you go to the university. We used to do that. I mean, it was the fashionable thing to do then.
Computer school.
Yes, you do software, and then you do hardware. So I've done software, I've done hardware. Yeah, so I can swap your memory card and your things for you, your hard drive and everything for you. So I'd finished this. I had my certificates in my plastic, bag. I was just roaming around trying to look for a job. And then I saw this signage where the Cuckoo's Nest, Naresh Mepuri, he said they were looking for somebody with an HND with accounting background as a cashier. I said, well, I'd just gone to computer school, Microsoft Excel. I don't need to struggle to do Excel stuff, the spreadsheet and all of that. So I walked in there. I didn't have it. Then we started the interview. So I had written the application already. It was there, but it was a general template kind of thing. So one person goes in there, another person goes in there. Apparently they all had HND, about 4 of them. I was the only person without the HND. But I'm me tight, actually. My long sleeves be I say watching me kakraba chale. Me mind. So I was in there. Then this Naresh Bipur guy, you know how the Indians are. He takes the thing, flips the letter, reads everything. Are you sure you wrote this very thing? I said. Then he turns the paper over, gives me a pen, and says, write again. Because apparently most of the people who had come in there, somebody had written the application for them. But mind you, I'd worked in a biscuit factory before. So I had the opportunity to be a tally clerk. And when the letters come, they give the letters to me. I go through them. And then I go and, sift it down and give it to the line manager and all of that. So I had the benefit, because I volunteered for 6 months biscuit factory, I had the benefit of seeing people's CVs and application. So I learned a lot from it. And then based on that, I wrote my own application. So when he turned it over, I said, this is why we go co-work. Then I wrote it for him. He read it again, said, fine. You have HND? I said, no, but I know Excel. He said, okay, fix it. Then he gave me some figures and he asked me to put in the thing. I did it and I did just the formula. Then I dropped it. He said, you have the job, sit down. You start tomorrow. That's all.
That was it.
If you go to Naresh Mipuri today, he will tell you. And at some point, he had so much confidence in me. He had a restaurant, he had a supermarket, and he had a pharmacy. I used to manage all 3.
Oh, wow.
Before I was 23. All 3 of them. And that's the real work experience. So this one, I know be school. You understand? Be school of hard knocks. That's what I think that majority. I mean, why would anybody who comes from journalism school and has a degree who want to learn under William? He thinks that, okay, Charlie, me too, I get degree. William to get degree, so Charlie, yeah, we day inside.
I mean, it's for me, as I said from the report, what I learned from the report was that the generational gap is based on work expectations. So, for instance, the new generation is under so much pressure. My time, there was no phone. There was no need for me to own a car that early. I mean, the way I dressed, we dressed decently, but there was no social media to give me pressure. But this new generation are facing all those, those are practical things.
That's right.
You know, I remember my father bought his first car when he was like 52 or thereabout. I bought my first car much younger. But these days, somebody starts a job and he's looking at those things, trying to. So when he comes to the job and he's not getting, he's disappointed and his output, his potential, everything is locked up. So he doesn't have the environment to study the work, to enjoy the work. He's fixated on the pressures.
I like that, to even enjoy the work.
Yes.
You talk about the pressure, and William, you make the point that
it's a fact.
We live in a society where if you are a young person, you've just got your first apartment, just to even furnish it, you walk into a furniture shop, there's no credit facility. You must bring that 20,000 for a new couch.
Why are you going to get an apartment?
Fast.
Why are you going to get an apartment?
So when you get into the workforce, they are already thinking about the calculations. They want the same amount as the MD is making.
But your father has a room in his home.
Those days, 4 of us would be choked. I'm not saying that was good. I'm just explaining the pressures.
What
when we
used
were
to
growing
pertain,
up, when I was, doing this hustling job after A level, I was still sharing one room with my brothers. My father was in Memu and Dine. You know, what I mean?
The boys, them are room.
But here, somebody starts work and he's looking for an apartment for himself. And he has to, like you are saying, he has to furnish the apartment.
Yes.
So he comes to work, you are paying him 3,000, which is a lot of money.
He is not happy.
He's not happy. So it shows you call him to come and do something a little extra. He wouldn't respond. He wouldn't even pick his call. But those days you'd be excited even when you are on vacation or holiday and your editor calls you. You see your editor's number on your phone. Hey, Charlie, my boss, they call me. Then you are happy. So as I'm saying, we also have to appreciate the fact that the new generation is also going through a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
The way
pressure that they have imposed upon themselves.
Johnny, I can't say that it's
the system. See, I was telling Helen the other day, my father, when he dresses up, or say, polish me shoe. You know the shoe. You know the shoe. He was one shoe.
Polish
and
the shoe.
As I'm sitting here, if you observe me, I'll change all my clothes. But I'm not a shoe person, because when I was growing up, I was polishing my father's shoe.
You learned from your father.
Wear the shoe, and it was always looking neat. Yeah, the Roland can say, hey, that shoe, if you see it, you know. So I'm not under pressure. As I sit here, I'm not under pressure to get all those things.
But you see,
the new generation, even the other day we were talking about iPhones. Master, your salary is 3,000, and you are looking for money to go and buy iPhone. So when you come to work, the iPhone is your objective. It is not. The other day, some people came to visit us, and we're using Android to take the pictures of the visitor. Somebody came and said, "This one, if you take right, won't come. Let the iPhone people come and take." Like a joke. So people are under that kind of pressure.
But you see, William, you see why I say they impose that pressure on the job. I mean, the systemic pressure can be there, but they impose this pressure something because they compete. For a long time, I didn't drive, and it was not a big deal for me.
It is because of where you are coming from.
Yes, no, I'm saying that for a long time, there are things that I didn't have. It was not a concern. Of a consent. I never driven a company car anywhere I've worked before. I've been offered. I never. Because my principle is that I don't want to be hooked onto something that I cannot have if it is taken away from me. You get what I mean?
But it is born out of your experience.
So if my suits are only 3, let them be 3. I don't want to be fixated on some wardrobe of a company somewhere that gives me 50 suits to swap, and then tomorrow when they say, okay, sorry Mr. Hughes, we can't employ anymore, then I go back to my 3 suits. People are, is that the same guy? I don't want that. I want, and that's the kind of training I'm giving my little nephews and my little nieces and all. I think it's the pressure we put on ourselves sometimes.
It's twofold, Johnny. I can agree that sometimes we do put pressure on ourselves.
Look,
but now we live in a global village. People are seeing what's going on around them also externally. So you have to appreciate that if you juxtapose the two, it could have been a different experience for you had you been surrounded by some of these things, because you see that others around you are living a better life. You like I said, global village, you see that young people have the rights to dream and dream big, and you are stuck here. Your only dream is that Charlie, this Friday, can I afford pizza?
But you see, what do you have?
No, but
what do you have? And what you want and what you need. My father always would put that before you.
That's what I'm saying. You had that
experience. My mother, when the going got tough and we didn't have money and we wanted to eat jollof, she would say, oh wait, do you guys know what Gary Foto is? And then she would use Gary and the remaining stew and do some magic with Gary Foto, carrot and things inside there, and it gave you the same orange impression like jollof. And you eat Gary Foto and think that you're eating jollof.
That is your experience.
You get the point. As opposed to you don't have Wusi Kanaka 80 Ghana. Who pay pizza?
Master, because your time there was no pizza.
Oh, boss.
We are not justifying.
Because my time, William, me and you, William, at time there was no pizza, but there was buruke flour with fish inside. Mimale.
You cannot compare the price of that to.
Oh no, but I'm saying that.
But even that, you see, I'm trying to just understand. I'm not saying what they are doing is good. I'm just trying to understand from research that the new generation is also under a lot of pressure. So as employees, as managers, we need to understand that. We need to appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand, there will be always be that clash of generations. You understand? Because Johnny's submission this morning, all that you have said, tell me that is because of your experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But your children or the young men and women we are working with today do not have the experiences that you have. Because if you walked into GBC, Graphic Times, in those days, how many workers had cars? To the point that even in the community, if you had a car, you had a title called Kauna.
Kauna, big man.
Today, who calls you Kauna? Look at the number of cars that troop in here. Sometimes you don't even get space.
Yeah.
So if you're a young man, you started working, you don't see your prospect of buying a car in the next year or two. You are frustrated already.
William, I remember my first assignment. First assignment as an intern. I mean, I remember it very well. The solid that they gave us, the guy just gave me the fish, big tilapia with banku. Charlie, my joy was, and the fact that my story even made it.
Yeah.
That was my joy. I didn't care about the envelope and what its content was. It was secondary to me. Because when school reopens and you go to school, the Tim Kwashika will ask you, how beneficial was your what do you call it, internship to you, and did you publish anything? Was it I mean, you so that pride and confidence in you alone, that my story made it. Hey,
but you see, your story made it on a limited platform.
Thank you.
If the young man comes here, we don't publish his story. He has other avenues to go and publish his story. He can create his own blog and publish his story. So I'm saying that for them, technology and the new environment is working against them and for them. So we have to understand the mix. You know what I mean? So if the young man comes to TB3, 6 months, 1 year, his salary is not able to buy an iPhone. Already he's burning inside.
You may his friends have iPhones and he doesn't have.
You know,
and when he go out and the journalism, he can't flaunt it.
The journalism that he's doing is not his objective.
It's not poverty journalism.
No, it's not poverty journalism. Because look, at the end of the day, within 6 months he's popular already. Before you get onto the screen to read the news at GBC, or for you to get the front page at Graphic, Masa, who there you go? But here you come. You are even the first day you come, they've even prepared you to come on TV already. So you have a certain expectation and the pressure on you to meet the kind of eyes that are looking at you as a TV presenter. You have to look good than the way you're looking good on TV. You have to smell good. You have to use iPhone. You have to have a car. You and I did not start like that. No. We did trot for like 20 years before.
And that is what I'm talking about now. Now, and I'm speaking from my own experience. Before you even get on the screen, they're expecting an already made package, person. And you have to finance that. You have to finance that packaging of yourself. You are the one that's buying the data to watch the videos to emulate what's going on there. You have to buy a new outfit or you go and do barter. Who can help me with shoes, with clothing, so that you are already an established brand these days before you go on air and you finance that.
But people, Helen, people live a lie life.
That is true.
And if you give people the impression that this is who you are, which you are not, when the day of reckoning comes, you will feel it.
And that's why we are having this conversation.
You will feel it. Look, we need to get people to cut their coat according to the size of their cloth. What you don't have, you don't have.
Yeah.
And you can't give what you don't have.
Yes. I remember Mr. Palmer, Most Reverend Palmer Buckle. There was one instance where he gave a lecture and he said his father had sewn school uniforms, the size poor ones, the big, the oversized ones, that he said they will grow into them.
Yeah.
And then the other, their neighbors also had uniforms that were nice and they fitted. So they came home crying to their father that, look at us and look at them. And then he asked them, what is their name? Then the message said, you two, you are Mr. Buckle's children. You have to dress like Mr. Buckle's children.
Right.
Leave them to be. And that for me was a great life lesson.
Yeah, Johnny.
I think that the bottom line is, how do we get the younger generation beyond the technology, beyond the mix, to also get some work experience? I am proposing that we should make holiday jobs a must, so that if you are in JSS 2 or JHS 2, JSS 3 or JHS 1, you start some holiday jobs. SHS, you start some holiday jobs. It doesn't matter where. They can take you to Makola. And you see, this is something that the Chinese have done and done so well. They take you to Makola. They give you to the person who is selling all the GTP or Printex of this world. You are in a small corner. Your job, because you are elected, is to say, okay, today when we came in this small corner, we had 40 pieces of GTP, of this particular GTP. By the close of day at 5 p.m., we had sold 25 of them. So tomorrow we need to bring in 25 to augment to have the full complement of 40. Consistently, if the child does that, basic cost price, selling price, all those small things, the child will come to a certain realization that business is not play, and that's some work experience. Then if that Makola woman is able to fill a certain form on behalf of the child goes to school, and that becomes some point on the child's report card. So it's 10%, because now we're teaching people entrepreneurship in schools, and it's all textbook approach to entrepreneurship. All textbook approach.
Yeah.
But if they actually are assigned or attached to business people, and I focus about business internship. I don't know if we do internship and send people to say Makola or UTC to go and do internship. Somebody is reading business administration, somebody is reading economics, and he doesn't even know how the economics of Makola works. He's nowhere close.
Johnny, this is a conscious thing that we should do. We should be intentional about it. For instance, I decided in my working life to buy a car when one day I picked Trotro from Tantra Hills to Kaneshi to connect to Graphic. When we got to a point, the driver said somebody had said something to him, he was angry,
so he dropped,
and that was his office. He dropped us. He didn't drop us. He said that was his office. We cannot be going to our offices and come and disrespect him. He looked for some convenient place, turned around, and took us back.
What?
To Tantra Hills. Yes. And then he said, "You won't go again. We should, whatever we do, we should do." But today you lie in your. So just immediately you begin to think.
You lie.
Yes,
he took you back.
Yes,
he didn't care that you be late.
He wouldn't even say you won't go, so get down. He turned and went back and said, "You won't go again." So whatever we want to do, that man has disrespected him.
People want
but today,
together.
Helen will lie in her bed. I will lie in my bed and order a certain. How do you call it?
Right here.
Right. Yeah. And they'll come and I'll be tracking the car. The car is coming to me. So the kind of experience I had will not be the same as Helen is having. So dealing with Helen, sometimes we have to appreciate the fact that we
had
coming from
return to sender approach.
So if I bought the car or I got the car, it was because of that experience. But if Helen is buying a car, it may be because of pressures that she has to get the car to. Oh, I'm not saying. But so we should, in the workplace, try and break down some of these experiences and have a conversation with the new generation.
For you, it was a necessity.
Yes, because look,
but for
sometimes
For Helen,
Yeah, because you have
be
Uber.
luxury.
You have
I mean,
Uber. Why would you?
Yeah,
You have
it was
you have
par
Yango.
for the course. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought my first car by myself, by the way, because I worked in a place where if you save your salary for about 3-4 months, you can afford to walk into a dealership and get a decent second-hand car, just to do your round. So it really, for me, wasn't even a case of who has what. It's just par for the course. At that age, you put your salary aside, you buy a car, you move on.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's connect with Mr. Joshua Ansah. He is the Deputy Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress. Good morning, sir, and happy Workers' Day to you.
Hello.
Mr. Ansah, good morning and happy Workers' Day to you.
Good morning. Same to you, my brother. Good morning to your charity business and the Ghanaian workers at large.
Is the Ghanaian worker happy?
Ghana workers happy today because we are coming to commemorate our leaders and the hard-working workers of this very country. Because of all the economic crisis that we are facing, we are so strong, and we think that when I say Ghana workers happy, not happy because the conditions of service are good, but it's happy that the day has come and we are celebrating it.
What are your key demands on this particular day?
Come again, sir. The place is noisy.
Okay, I'm asking, Mr. Ansah, what are your key demands on this day? Because you said you are happy because the day has come, but not entirely happy because your economic conditions are good. What are your key demands?
I've not said economic conditions are good, my brother. I didn't say our economic conditions are good. I'm saying divorce all the economic conditions in this country. We are happy today because we are celebrating our day. So let's look at that one first.
Right.
But what we are going to use this day to address is to address the woes and the challenges facing the worker in this very country. We are still living, some of the workers are still living in old age because some of the employers are maltreating and they don't want to respect their rights at work.
I see. Now, this will not be the first time you are making these demands. Will anything change this year?
Oh, yes, I think that you're making demands every year. Even though we are not achieving 100% result, but I think it changes the situation a bit. And we think that we will continue to press home for our demands until we make our demands. So we are going to use this occasion as our theme depicts that we are protecting our incomes and their pensions in an era of economic crisis, our responsibility. So we are going to use this very occasion to address those kind of issues in this very country. We are all aware of government's intention to actually use our pensions for the DVP exchange program, which we have actually cautioned that workers in this country will fiercely resist any attempt by the government in using our pensions for such a program. Government must look elsewhere and also look for an alternative ways of getting or raising funds in this economic crisis. I think our salaries, our conditions, our incomes must be protected. And in making sure our salaries are protected and our incomes are protected, we think that government must enact a policy that can also make our salaries and our wages and so enhanced. In this era, government must also come in the policy that you can get very good quality of service for the workers of this very country, my brother.
And for the ordinary worker who thinks that the labor unions really do not represent their interests, we just had a call this morning, somebody from saying that ICU particularly does not do anything for them because they don't look out for their interests. What do you say to them?
If another worker said that we don't seek their interests, I beg to differ. Because that is what we have been elected to do. We have been elected to do to seek the interests of our workers and protect their rights at work. You see, we cannot get everything 100% today. It's a process that we are continuing to do until that objective is achieved. We are doing our best, but this country is a very difficult country where industrial relations has become something that is very difficult to do with. But I want to commend the leadership of organized labor in this very country for the effort they are putting so far and the effort they will continue to put in to ensure that organized workers live to expectations.
What is the theme for this year's celebration?
The theme for this year's celebration is that protecting incomes and pensions. In this era of economic crisis, our responsibility.
and the event is starting very, very soon. I can imagine. Who is billed to be there? Share with us.
What is that? Come again. The place is.
I'm saying that the event, the big May Day event, will be happening shortly. Who are you expecting to be there?
Yeah, we expect that the president will address the issues about workers, and we also chose the northern region, the upper east region, for a very specific reason. You know, Bako, there's no peace in Bako at the moment, and we want this occasion to be used as a stepping stone to actually establish peace in the upper east region. Because our understanding is that there are no workers, there are no doctors, there are no teachers. All governmental agencies are closing down because of this situation. So if government is in this region, we want him to use the opportunity to address this issue. Moreover, he has done it at the Double area, so we have all the hope that he will do it in the Upper East region too, so that the whole Ghana will be at peace. And workers in this country also have their peace, because as unions, the life of our workers is very paramount to us. So if workers are not living in peace, then it means the whole Ghana is in shaky state. So this is why we chose the Upper East region, so that we can preach peace. We also chose the team because we want our incomes and our pensions to be protected when we retire. At the moment, we want government to actually ensure that we begin discussions on having living wage instead of a minimum wage that can at least take Ghana worker somewhere. And also in that policies that can ensure that our pensions are enhanced, so that when workers retire, they have very good pensions, and that is where the expenses go high. So, my brother, these are the few things. That is why we chose the Upper East region and the team for this year's May Day celebration.
Mr. Ansah, thank you very much indeed for your time. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. And let me use a medium to say, I echo to all workers of this very country. And also extend our appreciation to the regional minister and the municipal chief executive in the region for their support and making this celebration a success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's Joshua Ansah. He is the Deputy Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, I heard Mr. Ansah. He said Ghanaian workers are not happy. Nope.
I mean, with all that has gone on, I don't see how there'll be happiness in terms of cost of living and all that. I mean, the government knows. The president has said that we all find ourselves in an economic crisis. I mean, he used the word, and they are trying to fix it. And incomes are still low. The economic environment is not helping private sector to grow. Unemployment is rising. So this is a very critical moment for the Ghanaian worker. I mean, inflation is eating away our earnings. So I don't know how people even manage to exist, because the credit facilities we don't even have. No. You can't borrow. There's not a situation where you can just push out a card and show it to somebody and they'll give you something to take home. Everything is cash for the way. Cash and carry. And even if you have health issues that demands that you must get immediate help, you go to the hospitals, the national health insurance, what are they giving you? So these are concerns that the Ghanaian worker is facing, and it's very, very important that the president and his team sit down and then do what is right, because now the Ghanaian worker is under a lot of pressure.
I don't know where to begin.
I mean, if you go on 3news.com this morning, Akufo-Addo bemoans high number of young people crossing Sahara and the Mediterranean for a better life in Europe, and talking about young people
joining
seeking
us to complain.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an indictment on all of us. I mean,
yes, and
you should not be joining us to complain.
It's a sad story.
And you think about what people will do just not to be in their home country. They say they'll be anywhere else but, and that tells you that things are truly hard. At the height of the war, which is still going on, Russia-Ukraine, which has been blamed for all of our problems, people were jokingly saying that, if a plane lands here, people will enter that plane to go and even support either party, Russia or Ukraine, to fight, because at least there's a prospect that your life will be way better, even in combat, than it is at home, in your work, in everything. What does that say about the state of affairs? So to say that Ghanaian workers are not happy is just like saying the sky is blue. We know.
You are wicked, though. Yeah, playing, doing.
We are bemoaning situations, and the chief executive of the state is also bemoaning.
Yes.
And what kind of moaning?
It's a national day of bemoaning. Kwani, moni. We are bemoaning.
Don't go on like that.
Sisters, do you know what bemoaning means? We are bemoaning. Joshua said, hey, please, I didn't say that.
I mean, that's me, right?
He said, hey, don't try it. Don't go there. It's time to celebrate our people, our culture and music. And the 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards happening live on Saturday, 6th May at the